Easy now, people. It's your boy Si, aka the Mancunian. Welcome to Gunner Talk. I know it's been a while again, guy. I've just got so much going on at the minute, and there's not a lot I really want to talk about. Things have gone downhill so badly this season, and I was expecting a real upturn this year. So I can't really hide my disappointment at what's going on. To be honest, I expected a lot more from Unai. I was fully in his corner when he turned up. And it's just weird to see his fall from grace for me in the last, when he first turned up, him and his right hand Juan, as I like to call him, and there was all this shouting and the boys looked up for it in training, and the energy levels went up. And it just seems in the space of sort of 18 months, he's turned into a yes man. He doesn't seem to have the confidence of the players anymore. I think at the start they were buying into his, his ideology and what he was going for. And I don't feel like any of them are really behind him anymore. And all the comments that are coming from players, I don't really seem to back him either. And I'm worried about his situation because watching him and what he's been doing this year, he seems incredibly clueless to me, and that's a massive concern. And I said it last week by week, I have lost any faith, confidence, belief in the man, any of it. I don't have any anymore. And it was interesting sort of, talking about people, obviously always going to do, which is come back about Wenger and, is this better, is worse? Wenger had to go, there's no two ways about that. But I'm sort of now feeling a bit of sympathy towards him. I'm not saying I'd want him back, but when I saw those stats of those last 47 of Arsenal's game compared to Unai's first 47, my mind was a little bit blown, because I thought we'd improved more than that and we're actually worse. And when you take into account that Arsene was doing it with a squad of shit players, really, when he was just getting to terms with Ober and Laka. Now, if you look at what we've got this year and you give that to Arsene, would we be struggling as much? I don't believe so. I don't believe so, and that really bothers me. It really does. I'm struggling to enjoy. I've just not. It's been years since I've enjoyed watching us. A very long time. And people saying, well, at least under Arsene we played decent football. That's the biggest myth going, because I was at a lot of games of that last season of Arsene's, and we were fucking dire. I always stay to the end no matter what. And there was a few times in that last season I walked out at half time because I knew what was coming. And it feels the exact same this year with Unai, whereas we're going to go one down every time, unless it's someone who is completely toothless up front. If they've got any little bit about them, they score, and that's really concerning for me. There's been a lot of talk from people saying, why is he not throwing, holding, turning, Bellerin straight in? Well, you can see from last night, they're not up to speed yet. They're not up to speed at all. For me, Hector, although you could see the positives in his game last night, you could also see the negatives, which is he's not fit, and I felt the exact same about Turner. I saw people patting Mustafi on the back last night, but he's doing 4 wins out of 4 games because he's playing at his level. And if you really think he's playing well, go back and look at the chances they created last night. They shouldn't be creating any chances against us. And it was a free-for-all in the first half an hour. They could have scored a fistful for me, and that's not good enough. And I've been saying, we can throw Turner, Bellerin, Holding into the centre-back, into the defensive line. I don't really think it's going to change much. All right, yes, it's an improvement on personnel, but if they're not being coached, they're just going to be a shambles still, and it still felt like that to me last night. You're seeing 3 of what people want as our back 4. Definitely the 2 wing-backs. I'm not so sure about Holding, never have been. But the 2 wing-backs definitely should be in the first 11 when they're fit and ready. And I don't think it's going to change at all. I really don't. It's really concerning for me. I'm really struggling to find any positives at the minute. And it's like I say with Unai, I bought into his ethos and what he was going for. And the more I hear him talk, the more angry I get. It's like after the Sheffield United game, that was abysmal, and for me that was a sackable offence, the way we played against them. We set up like we were scared, like Xhaka's comments about Watford, we were scared, and we look scared against anybody we play against because we get that feeling that they're going to score no matter what, so we know we've got to get 2 every game. And I just don't like what he's saying. After his comments after that game, well, normally we'd win that game. Playing like that, if we play like that, we'll win games. No, we fucking won't. Not unless we're in Division 2, we won't. At League 2. mind-blowing for me, and that's what scares me the most about him, is he seems totally oblivious to the situation and how bad we actually are. You know, he said, was it yesterday, about you've got short memories. When I came in, things needed improving. Well, let's look at the stats. We've got worse, mate. And that's what I'd like, you know, people, you're in a privileged position when you're in the media and you get to actually ask these guys questions, and I hate the fact that everybody is so scared to ask them actual meaningful questions. Like, ask him to actually explain himself. Say, here, Unai, well, look at this, now tell me how you're actually doing better. Because when you look at the cold hard light of day facts, we're not any better. We've got, you know, for me, 1,000 times better squad than what Arsenal had, you know, over the last couple of years. And we're still dog shit. We're still dog shit, and there's no excuses anymore. And I called it saying the guy's basically being dragged along by kids overperforming and a couple of world-class players, and that's all that's keeping him in his job. I had a chat with somebody yesterday about his job, and he's in the belief that he's going absolutely nowhere, and things would have to get incredibly dire just for him to go at the end of the year. Sorry, at the end of the season, not at the end of the calendar year. So we're going to have to grin and bear it, guys, because I trust this person a lot. So I don't see things changing, but I also don't see Unai changing the way he's going about things. So I think it's going to be a long, hard season for us. And he was interesting, another mate last night that I was sat watching the game with, and we had a chat, and he said, look, you know, if you actually look at it, and he's the sun's always out, it's always shining, everything's always great, he is an eternal optimist, and he's a firm believer in you just support the team no matter what, whereas I like that ideology, but it doesn't work, does it? Because for me, being overly positive and always thinking things are great is just as detrimental as being very negative. Neither works. You've got to have a bit of a balance, and it's just really concerning for me what's going on with him at the minute. And I just don't see anything giving way at the minute. I really don't. And I'm just not sure what he's going to do. I'm not sure he's got it in him. To change things, but like I say about my mate, he was saying to me last night, yeah, but look where we are in the table, we're top of our Europa group, you know, are things that bad? And you guys know I like to flip things on the head, which is turn it round the other way and look at it from the other side, which is, well, look where we are in the league right now, and look where we are in the Europa League table, in our group table. Imagine if we were actually playing well where we could be right now. Could we be pushing Liverpool and City? Quite possibly. There's no reason that if this team was actually being coached well and tactically astute, excuse me, that we couldn't be battling those two at the moment, because we've got the personnel now, and that's what worries me. Very much similar to my comments about Southgate and why I don't like him, because he's got the best group of players any England manager has ever had, in my opinion, and he's just not big enough for the job. And I get that very similar feeling about Unai at Arsenal, which is I think he's beyond his level. I looked at his time at Sevilla as impressive, but the more I dig into it and the more I look, it's actually incredibly underwhelming. You know, when he is a cup, it seems like he's a cup and a lesser cup manager, rather than someone who's actually going to take us to Premier League and Champions League glory. And I don't think that's unrealistic, looking at what we've got to build off at the moment. My biggest concern is, you know, it was a bit like what Wenger was doing, which is he was wasting Ozil and Sanchez's primes with not having a world-class striker. We've got world-class strikers now, and we're wasting their prime playing absolute dog shit football. You know, and that's all going to be over soon. So, you know, Aubameyang's not going to be here for another 2 seasons. You know, we're going to have to get used to the idea of, not used to the idea, but he's not going to be here forever. He's not someone we can build a team around, unless it's in the short term. And in the short term, I don't see there being much success under this manager. So it's really worrying. There's just no style or identity to the way we play at all. Absolutely zero. You know, we're just crab football experts now. You know, an army football, just left, right, left. There's no emphasis in our play at all, and that's the one thing where people will look back at Arsenal, because at least we did play a style of football under him. It was one-dimensional, which is it's Arsenal's way and no other way. There was never a plan B, and that's what pleased me with Emery when he first came in, is that he seemed to have a plan B, a plan C, a plan D. He was prepared for any eventuality, and now he seems that he's reaching for plan D, E, F, G within 15 minutes of a game, because his plan A is so bad. it's a real contrasting style for me, and I've just lost all faith in him, and I don't like being like that, but I've got no belief that this man will actually turn this round. And like I said the other week, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but I don't see what he's doing to win people back round. Or, you know, we can bang on about the Ozil situation, and it's funny how, because we're playing poorly, all of a sudden Mesut Ozil's become the saviour. And some of you really cracked me up with it. You've very quickly forgot that Mesut Ozil's been treading water for 3 years. And I don't like the situation, but I don't think him coming in will make any fucking difference. I really don't. Yes, we might create a little bit more, but under the way we're playing, why do you think that he will suddenly play well? And I said it at the start of the season, if you look back at my video from the start of the season, he needs to go. Even if Unai goes, Mesut still needs to go, because he doesn't do enough to warrant being picked. He doesn't, you know, why? It's like the other week when he was kicking off and whinging and, you know, talking bollocks. Just try harder, mate. Anything we're all being told from everybody is he's just not putting it in. So rather than post your little smart Instagram, Twitter, whatever, Snapchat comments, whatever fucking social media he uses, why doesn't he just put it in on the pitch? Do your talk. That's what's frustrating me with a lot of this group of players, is they do a lot of talking off the pitch and not a lot of it on it. You know, Aubameyang, don't mind his social media because he does all of his talking on the pitch, so he can do as many dances, wear as many masks, drive as many ridiculously, you know, outlandish, ridiculous, stupid cars as he wants. Don't bother me. But, you know, you've got to carry yourself in a certain way. If you're like that, you've got to back it up. You know, it's like the old school stuff. You know, when white boots turned up, if you're going to wear white boots, you need to be the man, or you look like an absolute sausage. And that's how it feels to me, like a lot of this side. They all talk a great game, and you know, I'm a bit embarrassed by our fans that you suddenly think that we'll get rid of Unai, Mesut comes straight back in and he becomes that great, you know, as I've said, one of the best number 10s he's ever been. We're living in the past, guys. That's not about to happen. Do I think we'd have a better starting lineup with Mesut in it? Yeah. Do I think it'd be world changing? No, not at all. And it's all because of the way we're being coached. It's poor. You know, and I said again at the start of the season, I said if you have a midfield three that consists of Ozil and Xhaka, we get walked through, and that hasn't changed for me at all. Let's get on to my main man, Xhaka. I found it really interesting in firing back at Patrice Evra talking. Evra hated the bastard, hate anyone that's ever played in a successful Man United side. You know, Fergie can't stand the bastard, but I've got a ton of respect for him as the greatest manager ever to grace the Premier League. Doesn't mean I like the bloke. Same with Evra. Don't like the guy, but can you argue he's a natural born winner? No. And I found it quite embarrassing that Xhaka replied to him, or tried to have a pop at him, saying some people talk too much. Very similar about Petit when he came out and said things. Mate, you're talking about World Cup winners, you know, Champions League winners, serial trophy winners. How about you pipe down and fucking play better? Because this guy, as I said to you, he's the biggest embarrassment of our first 11. And as soon as Unai made him captain, I lost any belief in Unai at all. That to me was a clear sign of a guy who's fucking clueless, absolutely clueless. And it's proved in the way we play every week. You know, I saw a stat yesterday about Xhaka where he's like 170th in the Premier League for tackles and winning the ball back. He's just not very good. He's just not very good. And you know, the fact that he's our captain just makes us a banter club in my eyes, and why I really, well, I've told you guys, if he plays, I just don't watch us anymore, because I know what I'm going to get, and I know I'm going to get fucked off, so I just don't watch anymore. And that pisses me off, because I love our club and I want to watch, but I'm not supporting people like him, and people who say, get behind the manager, get behind the players, no matter what. No. Because as I've said before, you don't do that in any other aspect of your life, do you? You know, if your missus is out cheating on you every night, you go, yeah, but she's my missus, so I'm going to stand by her. No, do you get rid of her, and you get someone that's loyal and you can trust, and you actually can love and get it back, and it's reciprocated. You know, and I find that the same in any walk of life, but you treat football totally different. So no, I'm not going to get behind the guy implicitly no matter what, because he's not good enough for Arsenal Football Club. I've said it about Welbeck. You know, people said to me, oh, he's a good squad player. Well, would he be a good squad player this year? Because he's out already for Watford, and that's a season-ending injury. You've got to get used to it with these guys. They're not up to standard, or the fitness levels aren't there, or they're just not good enough players. End of the excuses for me. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of excusing people for not being good enough. We're Arsenal fucking Football Club, not Accrington Stanley. We should have players that are good enough, and if we haven't, get rid of them and get ones that have. No loyalty from me, because I've been saying it for ages. There's no one in this Emirates era that deserves anything from fucking me. None of them. There's no such thing as an Emirates legend. Matteo Guendouzi will be the first one. How about that? You know, he, for me, is the biggest problem at the minute, Guendouzi, because he shines a light on just how bad Xhaka is. Here we've got a kid who's just turned 20 from French League 2 football last year, who has got more about him, more balls, more initiative, more fight, more understanding of the fans and the way we feel than our captain will ever have and ever has had. This guy just talks, and he doesn't even talk a good game because it's embarrassing. Like saying, coming back firing comments at people like Ever and Petit. Do you think they laugh when they see his replies, or do you think they bite and get wound up? Because it's funny how Xhaka's got pretty moody at what they said and acted a bit petulant, whereas I'm sure they just chuckled when they saw his replies. Because he's not at their level. He's not even close. You know, these are two of the world's best in the positions they played in, and this guy, I think he's probably our fourth, fifth best midfielder, and that's because we've not got that many midfielders. I said to you guys, I'd rather watch Olayinka play than Xhaka, and I've not changed my mind. It's just not good, guys. Another thing that confused me about last night is people talking about Pep, saying he needs time to settle in or look now. And I'm really confused by that, because you're talking like he's been here for 6 months. He's been here for weeks. You know, how many starts has he had? Not even a fistful yet. And people were already writing him off. Now, I don't know if you're aware about this or not, but players don't pick their price tag. Is it Nicholas Pep's fault that we paid 72 million for him? No. But does that give us some sort of belief that he has to perform? Yes. Does it mean he owes us anything? No. And you know, I've been encouraged by him right from the start. I saw a lot of him last year, and he's electric. He's so exciting to watch. And I said last night, and I said it days ago, he'll be the first truly electric player you'll see at the Emirates, and you'll see at Arsenal for a very, you know, your Henrys and those type of players that get you out of your seat, and the possibilities are endless when this guy gets on the ball. And my position hasn't changed from day one, which is even in the first few, you know, when he came on as a sub, you can see it in the guy, you know. People writing him off straight away. Have you forgot that we've watched Iwobi, Ox, Welbeck, Walcott, you know? Have you forgot we've been watching these guys, and we gave these guys years to improve, and it never happened? Some of you have given Pep 4 games off the bench and gone, oh yeah, waste of money. You're going to eat your words fucking big time. I am more confident of that than anything else. The only thing I'm more confident of is that Guendouzi will be the best player of the Emirates generation at Arsenal. They're the two most confident things I'm sure on at this minute in time. And Turney will be the best left back we've had since Ashley Cole, if not better. They're the shouts for me, but it's just embarrassing how quickly knee-jerk. You know, somebody said to me the other day, you knee-jerk about Unai, but I'm not knee-jerk, because it's took me 18 months to figure out he's not going anywhere, and we're not going anywhere under him. Some of you guys are writing Pep off after a few, you know. If he'd played 20 games, or he'd played till Christmas and he'd not got an assist or a goal, I'd say, yeah, this is concerning. But he's doing numbers already. 2 worldy free kicks last night. And for me, talking about free kicks, I've been saying it for ages. Torreira is our best dead ball man, and he never gets a chance to take them. You go back, if you think I'm talking shit, go back and look at him for Sampdoria and look at some of the bangers he scored. But no, you know, we'll have Xhaka take him instead, because he has a biannual shot on target. You know, somebody commented to me on that about the Sheffield United game. Yeah, but look at that shot he had. Fucking wow. If you drop a bouncing ball in front of me 5 times, I'll hit the target twice. It's not impressive, guys. It's really not. That's the easiest technique to do, is hit a bouncing ball, in my opinion. And, you know, am I impressed to hit the target with him? No, that's expected for me. Fuck it, I'm not getting onto a guy, but it's embarrassing sort of how some of you are rating some people and not others. Like I say, last year we were still umming and ahhing about Iwobi, saying, oh, he could improve, but yet we've got a guy who's actually proven, who's had 4 games, and we're already saying he's shit. You're fucking idiots, most of you. You know, and I'm losing connection with the fan base as well as the side, which, you know, I've been losing a connection with the club for over 10 years now. My love for Arsenal is still as strong as it ever has been, but it's one of those where you say to somebody, I love you, but I don't like you very much. And that's how I feel about Arsenal. The love for that club is, for our club, is ingrained in me. Has been since I was 4 or 5 years old. Do I like the club? No. No, I don't. Not good. And like I say, the way we're just sort of writing people off instantly is beyond me. I saw it in Pep last year, and then again this season when he's come on and he's done bits. How can you not see talent in the guy? He just shifts his body weight and he drops people on the floor. He's dropping bodies for fun. As soon as this guy settles in, he will be absolutely frightening. And if you've not noticed how much opposition fans are talking about him, because they're petrified, they can see it. The fans keep going on about Iwobi, going, oh yeah, he's shit this. No, because they know he's shit, so they don't have to do it. You only do it about people you're scared are going to be good, and that's where everyone talks. But the most frightening thing for me is Arsenal fans have started talking about him in that light, and it's embarrassing, it really is. And you're doing it about a lot of other players last night. Willock, shit. Ainsley Maitland-Niles, shit. Give these lads a chance, people. How about that? How about we actually give these kids a chance? Because they're at a moulding stage at the minute where they need to be moulded. They're not the finished article. They need to learn, and that's why I say players like Xhaka, they get no leeway with me, because they are the finished article. He's as good as he'll ever get, and he's not good enough. These kids are now being coached incredibly poorly, and they're struggling. What position are these lads playing in? Like Ainsley, for me, you guys know I'm a big fan of him, and I was buzzing that, I was saying his performances at right back last year earned him the chance to play in his chosen position. But you look at that midfield last night, it's just all over the place. There was no structure to it at all, and that's our biggest problem at the minute, is our midfield, and I've said it for ages. And with or without Xhaka, with Xhaka it's a huge problem, without him it's still a big problem. And this is another thing about Unai, he doesn't know what he's doing. Look at half time last night. We had Torreira playing at 10, Ceballos playing as defensive midfielder, and we've got Ozil at home playing Fortnite. What more evidence do you need that this man is a little bit out of his depth? And I believe he's massively out of his depth. Like I said, I was a huge fan of him when he came in, and I saw his no-nonsense, and I thought, here we go. This is what we need, a tactically astute guy, takes no shit, takes no prisoners. Here we go. This is Arsenal Mark II, and we've gone backwards. It's really strange, really strange. And I don't know how he's going to win me back over. I don't. And comments again last night about it was a decent performance, and we should have been 3-0 down to a team that haven't scored in 2 Europa League games on a run of, they got beat by a semi-pro team in their cup at the weekend. A semi-pro team, fucking hell. How average are a semi-pro Portuguese side? Not being mean, but I would put my local pub side up against them, and I would expect them to compete. We're riding the luck at the minute, and I do not like that style of getting by. I don't, because it won't last forever, and the wheels will come off massively. And it's very much, we're going through the same pattern as we went through last year, where we were scraping by, we weren't playing well, but we went 20 odd games unbeaten, blah de blah, and then look at what happened once the luck ran out. We couldn't fucking buy a win, and we bombed out at the end of the year. And I can only see it going the same way this year, and it fills me with absolute dread and misery. I know I'm smiling, but I've just got to laugh because I'm sick of crying about it. I like to say, people giving Lacquer a hard time last night. He's come back from 2 months out. I didn't like the diving thing. That for me was fucking embarrassing. Because I say it all the time, divers need to be outed. So I hope he's on Soccer AM on Saturday morning laughing at diving, because it was embarrassing. But it spoke to me more about the desperation. We had confidence a bit last year that we are good enough to get ourselves out of this. This year, it's just blind desperation, and being carried by a world-class 20-year-old in Guendouzi. I've been saying about this kid since we signed him. He's got more about him than anyone else in the squad, apart from Aubameyang maybe. And he is going to be a future captain. I wish he was captain now, because he'd kick some fucking arses, and I don't think he'd be scared of going to an Aubameyang and saying, you need to pull your finger out, mate. Whereas Xhaka, I think he'd be, come here, pal. Performances over the past few... Fucking do one, mate. No time for the guy at all. But I don't get into this. My mate said to me last night, I hope that they now go on and beat us 3-0, and he's gone in the morning. I can't be like that. I don't ever want us to get us beat. I felt a bit like that last year and the year before that under Arsenal. It was just like, right, let's just get 3 6-0s out of the way, and he's just gone. I don't want to get like that with Unai, but I can see why my mate was saying that, because it's damage limitation, you know. And another mate last night said, yeah, but do you want to become a United, a Chelsea? You know, where it's sacking managers, getting new ones, sacking managers, getting new ones. Yeah, but look what comes with it. What's good about keeping someone who you know doesn't work? That's worse to me than chopping and changing. You know, I'm a big believer in change and, you know, keeping the ball rolling. And I know a lot of you are terrified of change. That's why you didn't want Arsene to go, because you don't like the great unknown, and it could be worse, but it could be better. You know, I said to people last year, just play the fucking kids. Because they could be worse, but they could be a ton better. And the amount of you that hounded me out for that last year, where I've sat back and laughed this year, because our best players have been youth players. It's comical, absolutely comical. I don't know. Like I say, Laka, player of the year last year, and he's had 20 minutes back from a 2-month injury, and we're already saying he's shit, and he's not good and he shouldn't be here. The fickle nature of some of you is unbelievable. You know, turning Holdy Bella and people saying, why is he not playing? Oh, well, he's playing him last night. So they're not ready, guys. They looked decent last night because we were playing fucking farmers from Portugal. If we'd have played that back line against Sheffield United, the result would have been the same, if not worse. I truly believe that. I do. You know, and I'm looking at the weekend's game. What do people... You know, I chuckle every week when I see people going, oh, 3-1 to Arsenal this weekend, Aubameyang hat-trick. You know, and you moan about a manager that's not learning, and you guys don't learn either. You just blind optimism every week. Whereas, and when I say to somebody, we won't win this week, like my mate, he got really arsed with me that I'd bet on Sheffield United last weekend. And I was like, fuck off, mate. Why would I let my love for the club stop me earning money? Can't I do both? Why do I have to pick one? Would I much rather bet on Arsenal to win games? Of course I fucking would. I'd rather not bet on them at all, to be honest, because it's too much of a pull on the heartstrings. But when I can see that there's obviously money to be made, I'm not going to fucking turn it down. Not because I'm not that blindly in love with the club. No. And yeah, I put money, and I will be back in Crystal Palace at weekend. Stick it in your pipe and smoke it for all I care. Seriously, fucking light that bad boy up. Because I don't see us getting 3 points out of that game unless they don't turn up. Because they will look at us the same as everybody looks at us now, which is that we just need to get at these guys a little bit, get at them a little bit, and they will fall apart, and then they will try and just, if we score 1, they'll try and score 2, and that's how they'll go about it. And, you know, Chris Wilder, you know, my mate said it to me at weekend, would we be better if we had Chris Wilder as manager instead of Emery? And the embarrassing answer is yes, because he's got... I said to me, look at that Sheffield United first 11 against ours. Tell me one player that was better than their opposite Arsenal player, you know, opposite number. None of them. There's not one Sheffield United player that I'd have picked over our you know, equal player, his opposite number. The only difference was they've got a better manager, and that is embarrassing to say that Chris Wilder, I believe, is a better manager than Unai Emery. And I'm going to believe that about any manager that takes points out of us, because we shouldn't be. The only teams we should be losing to this season is Liverpool and City, and we should be putting it up to them. And I don't believe we're going to. It's worrying. And like I say, I'll be betting against Palace or draw at weekend, because it'll be a good price. And I truly believe they've, for me, have felt like a team that have worked us out for years, and I don't expect any different. I think Zaha will be in a mood to try and prove, you know, you should have fucking signed me. I think he'll be well up for it. And I think they'll just put men behind the ball, and I think they'll stifle us, and I think they'll come out of the game with points. That's what worries me, guys. I would love to be proven wrong. You know, you guys say, when I say stuff about Xhaka, I've got an agenda. I don't have an agenda. He's just not good enough. There's no agenda about it. Because I'm an Arsenal fan. I want what's best for Arsenal. That's my agenda. If I do have one, that's it. And he's not good enough. But if he turns around and becomes the world's best deep-lying playmaker, will I still want him to leave? No. That, you know, there's no agenda about it, guys. It's just when people aren't good enough, you need to call it as it is, call it as you see it, and that's all I do. You know, I shoot from the hip, you know, and I don't get the way some of you think. I really don't. You know, so we're looking into the weekend. We're going to go with a similar sort of lineup as we have been doing. Just another quick one on Mr. Callum Chambers. You guys know I laughed at a lot of you when you said he should be the first person to be sold because he'll bring in good money, and I told you he'll be one of the most influential squad players we've got this year. How's that working out? He's our best defender. He's our best fucking defender. Right back, centre back, central defensive midfield. I told you guys, massively important. You know, comical. It's been one of our best players this year. Aubameyang, Guendouzi, Chambers. Best players. And then after that, quite possibly Pep. And I know a few of you laugh at that, but go and look at what he's been actually... Does he not honestly excite you when you watch him? Do you not see him get the ball? I mean, look at what he did against Liverpool. Van Dijk was fucking petrified of him after 5 minutes because he knew he's just going to put him on his arse. Oh, guys, I don't know, but I feel like that's my waffling done, to be honest. I'm at odds and ends with us at the minute. Unai, job's too big for him. He's got to go. He won't be going this season, but I don't see him getting another year next year. And even if we somehow manage to win Champions League, I will be really upset with the board if they keep him in charge because he's proven he can't do it. And you know, like I say, people are saying, well, wait till these players, wait till he gets this player, wait till he gets that player. No, because we're just not playing. We should have a style and an identity by now. You know, me and my mate were talking about, look at Chelsea. Lampard's been there months. He's someone who I've spoke to, Lampard, you know, at work, and he's a really switched on guy, really intelligent guy. I know a lot of people you laugh, but he's a very intelligent bloke. And look at the identity he's brought to them. Is that Chelsea squad better than ours? No chance, not in my opinion. I don't think there's much in it, but they're not better than us. But they've got a miles better coach, and it's why they're better at the minute. And if we came up against Chelsea tomorrow, I think they'd wipe the floor with us. As much as I don't think they're a better side, they're better coached and they're better organised, and I think they, you know, fucking laughable that I'm saying that about a side that's got Tammy Abraham leading the line. They're better. And I'd be very shocked if we get a result out of any teams like that. And my mate was showing me last night that run of games. Excuse me. Liverpool in the Cup, Wolves, Leicester. For me, that'll be the end of Unai. But me and my mate were saying it last night. Why would you be confident? You know, there's a lot of people now. I noticed on Twitter the last few days when I've been on there. People saying Unai out, Emery out, blah blah blah, he's got to go. Has he gone this morning? Is he going tomorrow? Guys, how long did it take us to get rid of Wenger when we knew he was dead in the water? How long? 4, 5 years too long? How long did he stay for too long? Should have gone after the back of that FA Cup. So 4 or 5 years too long. So what gives you any belief that these lot behind the scenes will get rid of this guy as soon as they realise it's not happening? Because for me, we've all realised that pretty much. 80% of the fan base, I know we're all armchair managers and all the rest of it, but you can't ignore what's right in front of your face. And what is right in front of my face at the moment is we are struggling against real piss poor sides. And you know, when Unai said he's made us more competitive, and I thought, you have made us more competitive, because instead of us only battling sort of Liverpool, City and the top teams in, you know, Europe's elite competition, now we're competing against everybody because we're no better than anyone. You know, I've got to laugh because it's just so bad. And like I say, the look for me, it's just every game now, it's just filled with dread. Because it's just, you know, like I say against Palace, I'll be stunned if we go 1-0 up against them. Absolutely stunned. Will we keep a clean sheet? I fucking hope so. Do I believe we will? No, not in a million years. And if we do keep a clean sheet, I don't see us scoring. So that's just how I feel about the club at the minute. I'm sorry, guys, it's really miserable, but I've got to be honest with how I feel. And we're just not up to it anymore. We're not, you know, and Unai had his excuses. Like, I'm not going to be a hypocrite and say, I've been saying for ages he should go. Last year I was fully behind him. Just wait till he's got the players, wait till he's got his own players. He's got his own players now, but there's no style. There's no style. There's no... Who can, honestly, if anyone watches this, you know, I don't know if anybody does, but if you do, come at me and tell me, what is his recognised style of play? Because I'm not seeing it. I'm really not. And I felt like we did have some identity to our play when he first turned up, but I feel like it's been beaten out of him. And it looks like that with the players to me. They look like they've had the confidence smashed out of them. You know, that Ozil post about, you know, laughing We don't know if that was aimed at Unai. People have said, well, it's because he'd already seen the squad and he knew he wasn't in the lineup, and it was a sort of subliminal message, laughing. I'm not sure about that. But the fact that so many players liked it does make me think it was definitely aimed at Unai and at the club. And this situation, like I said in my video at the start of the season, I said to you guys, my biggest issue with this year will be this saga between these two rattling on. And it's going to go on all year, because Mesut's not going to go anywhere, because he's clearly dug his feet in, and he's not willing to budge now. And I said I hope Unai sees Mesut out the door. Now I fully believe that Unai will be the first to go out the door between the two, but I want to see both gone. Because like I say, I think a lot of you are clinging to Mesut at the minute, saying, well, you know, it's Unai's fault, and if he just played Mesut we'd be better and we'd create more. Well, show me over the last 3 seasons where the proof in that is. Because we all wanted Mesut gone last year because he was shit. Year before, same, non-existent, putting more hours in on Fortnite than he is on the training pitch. And I don't believe any of that's changed, I really don't. And the sad thing for me is now his position is getting increasingly stronger by doing little. And that's really concerning for me. He's not having to work hard to look like the best guy in this situation, is he? All he's having to do is hold firm. That's all he's having to do. He's just go, this guy's just imploding himself. I was just stand back and watch. You know, and it was interesting when we were having a bit of a confab last night about it, and would he be better off playing him? I think he's dug a hole for himself now where he can't. I don't see Mesut playing for us again while Unai is here. I really don't. Because he looks weak no matter what he does now. If he plays him again, well, we knew he'd back down at some point. And if he doesn't play him, like my mate said, if we were playing really good football, you know, and you could see something, you'd go, well, I don't blame him for not picking Mesut, because he's clearly not doing enough. He's not enough of a team player. Blah blah blah. All the rest of it. So I'm not shocked. But we're dog dirt, and we could do with a player like Mesut Ozil. But do I think Mesut Ozil's that guy? No, I don't, because he's done nothing to win me over the last few years, and that's what surprised me of a lot of you. But it's like with Unai, you know, if he does play him and then Mesut actually goes, you know what, I'm up for this today, and he has a worlder, then we're going to want Unai out even more, aren't we? So he's living by the sword, and he's got that sword, and I've said the same. It's his 2 biggest mistakes, and it's what's going to kill him: making Xhaka captain and this stance on Ozil. The 2 things that are going to end his Arsenal career for me. I don't see us winning any trophies under him if we give him another 5 years. I really don't. I think we could give him 4 Van Dijks in the defence, and we'd still be a fucking shambles, conceding to carry a bag or whoever else in the Europa. Just not good. So yeah, guys, I would normally say looking forward to the weekend's game, but I'm not at all. I'm just glad that the NBA and the NFL are in full roll, and the Rugby World Cup, because that's what I'll be enjoying this weekend. I know I won't get any enjoyment out of watching us, and I find that deeply depressing that I'm saying that, because I'm never like that. But what are the club giving me to be excited about in the minute? Zero. Absolutely zero. Few positives, you know, because I'm going to try and dig for some. Smith Rowe looked decent last night. I just couldn't understand where he was sort of playing him and what he was being asked to do. Why he's not being given the Ramsey role is a bit confusing for me, because I don't really see him as a winger. Like say second half, Torreira at DM and 2 box-to-boxes in front of him, which is what I've been saying, or Torreira deep with a Guendouzi or a Ceballos as a deep line playmaker next to him, and then Ozil further in front. That works, but we're not going to see that anytime soon. I just don't know, guys. I just don't know where we're going anymore. Like I say, I feel like I'm laughing like somebody that's a fucking lunatic that's lost the plot, but that is exactly how I feel at the minute. Yeah, I don't know where it improves, guys. I really don't. And like I say, the thing that's scaring me most at the minute is Unai's answers to questions, because the utter bollocks. They don't make any sense, and he sounds now like a man that's defeated, because it's all just excuses now. It doesn't sound like he's got belief in himself anymore. And I think, like mate said, I think Sevilla was his level. He got found out at PSG because he couldn't deal with big E or, you know, and real top end players. And I feel a bit the same in this situation. I think if Aubameyang went and rallied the troops, Unai would be gone tomorrow. Because I know which one the board would choose. I think they'd side with Aubameyang all day over Emery. And I think that would be the same for Mesut if he'd have done more in his last few years, but he hasn't. So that's why for me he started off in a weak position, but that's getting stronger by the week. And the more Unai doesn't play him, and the more we play like shit, the more people are going to pine for him and turn him into some idol, you know, some false idol that he actually isn't. You know, people still believe we've got Mesut Ozil, you know, that season where we should have won the league that year, and you know, Giroud, we don't want to talk about it, but you know, Giroud going on his barren spell, and it wrecked that season. But that was the last time I remember a good Mesut Ozil. You know, when people try and remind me of where he's been good, that one that people keep reminding me of was against Ludogorets. Ludogorets. Come on, guys. Come on. I mean, come on. It's not enough, is it? You've got to really... I get why you're bugging out that he's not playing, but to believe that if we all live in Mesut Ozil's world, the place is a rosy future full of unicorn farts and you know, and mythical creatures is beyond me. And that for me is what Mesut is at the minute. He's becoming some sort of mythical creature that we all think he's coming to save the world, and it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Anyway, I'm waffling, guys. That's it from me. Hope you've enjoyed. If you've got any questions, fire them in. Catch you on the flip side, people. Have a good weekend, and if you're English, get behind England in the rugby tomorrow, because I've got a strong feeling we're going all the way in this one. Peace out, guys.